2026.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability. We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with her. They should be at a cafe right now. Still, I don't think that Gemma's likely to open up to us. So, we need a contingency plan. Today, we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo, Caesar's former pupil and assistant. When Caesar passed away, all the stolen goods discovered in his home were confiscated and returned to their rightful owners. But Lorenzo was the only one privy to all his magic secrets, and he inherited his craft. Before long, Lorenzo was the next big magician in town, his fame surpassing even that of his master, and it made him very wealthy. He's since left the magic scene though, and these days, he's a wealthy businessman with his fingers in a lot of different pies. I had to pull a lot of strings, but I managed to get him to agree to a couple of drinks with me. Be warned though, I hear he's got a hair-triggered temper. We'd best be careful.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining.
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other people with you.
My apologies. These 2 are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the former magic maestro himself, they begged and pleaded with me to bring them along. And if it's no trouble, a couple of autographs would really make their day.
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Get a load of this guy. Forget the pleasantries, he says, but he looks pretty happy about Lenny stroking his ego.
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians. Do me a favor and cut to the chase. I have more important things to do than drinking.
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to address is also related to magic. Yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. He claims to be planning something for the same evening that I'm scheduled to do a magic show there. I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally, any investigation into the weasels—
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the weasel and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny to write a warning letter? It changes nothing. Are you trying to tell me you—
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up. I do concede that a copycat is but one
possibility? It's a fact, Linny. Look, my patience is limited, so listen carefully while The weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so do yourself a favor and quit this investigation. It'll lead you nowhere. Look, if this affects your magic—
Oh, sir, I'm honored, really. But this isn't about finances for me. My pride as a magician is what's at stake here, Lorenzo. Copycat or not, this person has thrown me the gauntlet, and I must meet their challenge head on.
Your pride? Don't mince words with me, boy. Just tell me, what exactly are you—
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity. I have to know for myself—
What would that accomplish? And what do the events of 10 years ago have to do with you, anyway? Look, you of all people should know that a magician never reveals their secrets. And in any case, dead men don't talk.
Uh-oh. This is getting awkward.
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you! I know that bit.
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on. You can't be all business all the time. You know what they say. Live fast.
If I wanted your life advice, I'd ask for it. Now get out of my face and go be drunk somewhere else.
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Oh, hey. Edmondo. He and I are business pals. We worked together a bunch of times. This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. Foul-mouthed and hard-nosed. Never heard a kind word out of this guy the whole time I've known him. And he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being, what, pushing 40, 30, something? Anyway, point is, a lot older than when he first got rejected by the girl he was into. And he's still into, from what I hear.
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you and you can forget about doing business with me ever again. Do I make myself clear?
Sorry, I may have had a little too much to drink. All right, I'm gonna leave. Don't work too hard.
I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Linny, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather
Totally. He's gotta be.
I think so too. That guy Edmondo seems to— You okay there?
Who are you? Oh, it's you guys. Don't worry about me. I must have had one too many. I just need to ride it out. I say way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself into complete financial ruin. Note to self, no more drunken chats when Lorenzo's around.
So he was serious about threatening to cut you off? Ugh, Paimon knew he was a bad egg.
Hey, keep your voice down. Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affairs. Bad things happen to...
What kind of bad?
Don't even ask. I'm sorry, I'm gonna... And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. You saw him flare up back there. I don't know what... That's not a good sign. You're too young for this.
And there he goes.
Shh. I think we're being watched. Someone was listening into our whole... Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Linny. And where's your sister? Ain't she with you today? Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister! Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions, missy.
Looks like we can't... Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're...
Don't worry, we got... I see everything. I'll protect us.
Curses. They're tougher than we thought.
Vision wielders are always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like it did on the late...
Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what they said? Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. And they've already done it to someone. You're right. She was injured when we saw her yesterday, and maybe she was too scared to tell us.
Well, let's head back to the cafe and see if we can get any information.
Ganti baju deui, Dut.
Gemma?
You again. What is it?
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and so you can...
What? Why?
Sounds like they're no...
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too. It's been 10 long years. And still every time I try to look into Caesar's death, they How do I know I can trust you? Do you really think you can get to the
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. Because you see, this is a personal matter of the utmost...
Okay.
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his personal effects. If possible, do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde. But the place was sealed up by the police after his... I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of Gemma.
Got it. But if I'm staying...
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too. They're likely to come for you.
Okay. Alright. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more seriously.
This could work. I'll just treat them as new samples.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocked. There we go.
This was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device. Let's dance.
Gather!
Hey!
Illusion shattered!
Yeah, come. Go, Barbara!
Step right up!
Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look.
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Let the show begin. That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. There's a distinct lack of mystery. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. I'm starting... If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room? Aha! If I just move this book, then...
A secret passageway!
I'm a magician too, and apparently looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
Solidify!
Let's dance! Oh. I see everything! Let the show begin!
And voila!
Why have you stopped, Lenny?
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go. If anyone makes a major discovery, let's run.
All right, see? Seems like we can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh?
Yep.
shall we?
At one of my shows a few days, as a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today so I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. Two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to... I told them that learning... It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those two children. I have a good feeling about... They have all sorts of fantastic... They wanted to call me master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have with time. I have no... Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are... It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the two kids if they'd like... I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but I think that I've got... They're very tough, but also very cautious. And they trust no... They hide things from me too. For example, when I ask... That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover... I can sense that their lives have been hard. After thinking things over. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them... P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't Oh, Caesar. Just...
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Linny and Lynn. So did they meet Caesar when they were kids?
Hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot...
Fishy?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high up... First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the... At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they start... Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make... Oh no! Is that me? Did I...
Very vivid description. Paimon...
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished. As if everything... Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking. The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, he fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what I could gather from his notes, and the relevant...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has... Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous... Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real...
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is... From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret... He then escapes through this trapdoor onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even...
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is controlling the There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins. Many days and nights of careful research. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician.
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fishy stuff.
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough...
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact left-handed. Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on them, but a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid the essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the false... And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifice, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the... But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart... Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed... Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious.
But in reality, someone switched the boxes. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be...
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. So, isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do...
You mean Gemma? So you were...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people... Which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out.
Dude! Everyone hold hands!
Solidify!
Roll!
You kids are tougher.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? I think it's high time you started talking, and what I'd really like to know is...
If I had a Mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolize. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fire.
So it was jealousy.
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. He poured everything into his street but the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me... Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the... He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their Mora. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in... I had to kill him.
And this was your only...
It was reason enough. What other motive would I...
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance...
In love with Gemma, don't be...
Guess I was wrong about that then.
I am. Caesar was... so strict with me. He insisted that his... I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the...
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how...
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft.
So, that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again.
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaws. You've seen what's... So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years, the likes of which Caesar could never give me.
Very well. In that case, I'll call... Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
At least I can finally...
Lini has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Look who's finally developed a What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Gemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Good point! We should go tell Gemma the good news right away! It'll give her some peace of mind for sure!
Just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just...
You're third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in mod...
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the...
That's besides the point. Well, it's done now.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him...
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I still did... I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but I...
It's okay, we understand. He did threaten you, but you don't need to be scared anymore.
Sorry. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious, but I had people watching me all the time. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me. And then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Caesar and to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting At least his soul can finally rest in peace now. Thanks to your...
If only I'd realized...
Don't blame yourself, Gemma. Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. See? Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? This show will be a special one. We're holding it
in Caesar's honor.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out. Wait, Paimon feels like we're forgetting something.